Hello, so today's edition of my YouTube channel, it's all about zero waste and the things that I've implemented in our home and when we're out and about to try and reduce our waste. I've got two young children. I've resigned myself that I will never be completely zero waste, but all I can do is make small changes, and I will show you around some of the things that we've done. So in our kitchen up here is where I pop all the jars that I want to reuse, and this means that whenever I'm wanting a jar to store things in, I've got them already up there and they're easy to find. So in here we have some bamboo spoons, which the children like. There's still some plastic straws, but they're reusable ones for my youngest, and then the rest of us use these glass ones, which are really cheap to buy, but they're very handy. They're really good for reusing. Then in here where I do baking, they're all in use. Well, I have silicone baking mats, and they're really handy because not only are they non-stick, so it's instead of using greaseproof or lots of oil, and it means that you don't have to scrub your pans and your baking sheets, so you just lay them over the top and they keep everything from sticking. Oh, actually, I think I might be able to. Ooh. So in here I have been roasting some tomatoes, and you can see they're on the silicone mat. I've got my recycling area, could do with a bit of a wipe actually, but I've labelled the different sections so when people come over they can use it. So here we've got just dry recycling, glass, paper, bottles. Who had a Costa? It wasn't me. They're not recyclable. It's going to completely undo my next point I've been trying to do. Then we've got compost, which is all like the banana peels and all the horrible stuff. Then we've got food waste. Now this one should be pretty empty. However, I found some bread that had been discarded. And the other thing I've decided with the zero waste on the food front is that unfortunately, due to having a toddler that makes a lot of mess, or a preschooler, that he is now, there's always going to be some food waste because he drops stuff. But the good thing about our county is that they do collect food waste and they recycle it into fuel, I think, or something like that. I have my reusable coffee cups that I take with me when I go out. They are plastic. I was given them as a gift, and I thought that I would just use them to buy my coffees in, and places like Starbucks give you 25p off every time you buy a coffee and it's in your own cup. I've also made some snack bags. So these were just some scraps of fabric, and then I put this, it's like shower curtain stuff, and Velcro to do it up, and then they can put their snacks in it. Obviously they're not great for crumbs, they do fall out, but they're better than nothing. We do still have cling film and foil, but we're not using it very much. We've got these sandwich wrap things by Wrap Eat, and you can put your sandwich in and fold them up and then just give them a wash and reuse them. So again, they are plastic, but I didn't want to get the beeswax ones because I didn't want the beeswax on them. I wanted them to be vegan friendly. So I mean, that's one of those trade-offs you'd have to decide. So you can get beeswax ones, and they're brilliant because you can use the heat of your hands to seal them, which is really cool. So another thing that I've bought, which is made of plastic, but I feel I'm going to keep this for a long time, is this little thing. So this is instead of cling film, so you stretch it over the top of your dish or your bowl, and then it seals it in. So that's really cool. Another thing I do is make some things myself. So one thing I've got brewing here is vanilla extract that I've made, and I bought some vanilla pods, chop them up, and then you just put booze on them. I think this is brandy, brandy. Oh, and I found some vodka, so I chucked that in too. But basically you just top it up, and then it takes a few days, but then it's just like vanilla extract because it's it's not the paste, but it is the extract, and you do get some of the little bean seeds from the bean in there. I've got this water bottle that I take around with me. This one is stainless steel, so it's quite handy for drinks that's got no plastic. And I think that could be recycled once I finished with it, you know, if the seal broke and I couldn't get it fixed. So So I like to cook in bulk. Our freezer's a bit of a mishmash. Oh, so I've got lots of plastic bags in here, but I've kept them in here for years. So when I have grown my herbs, I freeze them, or if I buy them and I've got stuff left, I freeze them in there. That's a really good way of reducing waste of food. Another thing I do is when we have a takeaway, I save the boxes and then I make soup and freeze them in it. Obviously I don't heat them in this, I then will pop them out of the box and heat it in a pan, but it means that I can cook in bulk and then freeze it and then reuse it, and then I can reuse those dishes again and again, those boxes again and again, or until they break, so not really good. But at least I'm recycling them when we do have a takeaway and not just chucking them into the bin. So when I go food shopping, one of the things I would do is I have under here, this is my shopping bag, and in it I keep these fabric bags, and then I would put things like if you buy apples loose and you want to have them not roll everywhere, I would put them in one of these bags. And what I do is I just take this bag with me, and then I've got everything I need there with ready to go. And I also have my reusable shopping bags in there, so I'm not using plastic ones. And then when I've emptied the plastic bag, I normally pop them just by my front door, so that when I go out again, I'm ready to, I just have to pick them up and it's not too much effort. So they're most of the things around my house that we've done. I've just made a list here so that I can tell you some of the other things I've done. So I have also, we have got a compost heap, as you saw our compost bin. I'm also trying to buy second hand. So this top here I got for a few pounds off eBay. It is hemp, I think it's made from. So it's really cool. It's like the kind of thing I would like to be buying if I was in a shop, because it's a sustainable material, but I bought it second hand from someone that didn't want it. And I've also been buying second-hand furniture. So this sofa here that I'm sat on, I got that off eBay, and I'm trying to do our living room up at the moment and only buying things second-hand. So I'll give a tour of that when it's looking complete. I've only done half the room because I have to wait for the things I want to come up on eBay, or you know, the second-hand selling sites, or find them at a Koboot. So I'm halfway there. So I mentioned that I make soup and freeze it. So the other way I've reduced our waste is to do meal planning. So I don't plan every meal. I buy a variety of things to put in fillings and sandwiches. I make biscuits, crackers and soup, and I normally make something else. Biscuits, crackers, soup. Oh, and a cake each week. And that way we've always got things that we would generally otherwise end up buying. But the good thing is I can make it dairy free and vegan for me, dairy free for the rest of them, and it's going to be generally more nutritious because I generally cut the sugar, and then they can have it in their lunch boxes. But having shown you what we've done, we're not perfect, and there's certain areas that I'm planning on improving in the coming weeks and months. So the first thing I'd like to do is stop using coffee capsules. So we have an espresso machine. I absolutely love my espresso machine. It's so good. I love it. And it has meant that I'm not going to coffee shops nearly as much. I only generally go if a friend suggests meeting at a coffee shop, I will go. But generally, I'm not that keen on buying a coffee when I'm out, which means I'm not using all those cups that can't be recycled. So the other thing that we get through a lot of that I'd like to stop is cartons of milk. But this is an area that I'm torn on. So the cartons can be recycled, which is better than nothing, but it's not ideal because I don't know that they're recycled. I just put them out for the recycling. And we get through probably 6 to 8 cartons a week, probably, litres. And we have a variety of different things. So my son has this special formulated soy milk that has extra nutrients. I cook with almond milk. I like having hazelnut milk in my coffee. And then sometimes we have like a chocolate almond milk as well. And what I need to do is start making milk myself. But the reason I'm kind of resisting that is because I like the fact that the bought milks have the added nutrients. So the vitamin D and the added calcium and things like that. And it's the one area that my children will eat or drink or whatever and use the milk in their food. And I feel like that's really valuable. So, I mean, if you've got any thoughts on that or any research that might allay my fears, that would be brilliant. The second thing that the third point that I'm trying really hard to change on is bread. So I've started making I've been making our own pizza dough for a long time, but I am now trying to encourage, not very successfully, everyone to have homemade bread. But whatever I've made it is either really liked and gets eaten in one go, so there's nothing left for a second meal, or it's not liked because perhaps they put too much wholemeal flour in it or something, and then they won't touch it with a barge pole. And the final area that I'm currently trying to improve us on is paper towels. We don't use very many at all. However, I do think they're pretty unnecessary. And I've cut out all my fabric ready to make my own, and then I've had real trouble sewing it together. It keeps sliding apart, and I think I've tried it about 7 times now, and I've had to unpick it each time, and I've got cross and walked off. But I'm going to find a solution, and I think what the solution might be is I upcycled an old baby changing table cover for the absorbent bit, and I think that's what the problem is, because it's quite stretchy toweling. So I think I might just change that and get rid of it and use something else, but I don't know what. So if you've got any more ideas of things you think I could try, or things that have worked for your family, let me know in the comments below. I'd love some more ideas, and I hope that you like this video and you click subscribe. So I'll see you again soon for another episode.